Today on my drive to work, we're gonna go get some pho.
It's a little bit of snow.
It snowed today, so naturally I gotta post a video and be upset about it. This car thinks the tires are flat again. Fucking pho is bone.
Are you explaining what pho is?
Yeah.
Who the fuck doesn't know what pho is?
Fuck you.
The fuck out.
Look, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is my job now, so technically the title's not misleading. I haven't been paid yet. I won't be paid for 2 weeks because when you get a new job, there's that probation period of 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the worst. How are you supposed to pay your bills?
We're trying to run a business here, man.
2 weeks plus 2 weeks to get paid?
Have you ever gone like job interviews? They're so they're one of the most frustrating things you could do in your entire life because you have to make this piece of paper that's just like,
why do you want to work here?
Why do you want to work here? Well, I want to work here so that I can exchange labor for monetary gain, so I can use that money to exchange it for goods and services.
So I can buy fucking beer.
Fuck!
So I have to think about how shitty it all is.
I went for a job interview once to work at a car rental place to wash the rental cars, and I went in for the interview, and they're just like, it's the typical, like, they sit down and they're like interrogating you and trying to intimidate you and being like, why do you want to work here? I'd be like, oh, I wash my cars for fun, so why not wash your cars? I wrote a thing of like the Suburban I was talking about in the last video. Like, I was like washing the back, it had so many windows in it, it took forever. What's the fucking school bus honking at me for? Fucking school bus. People be like, I like the interview's going well and whatnot, but then I see the interviewer like just write like a big circle with an unsmiley face in it, and I saw her do that, and I went, why'd you do that? And she said, you're wearing a baseball cap. And then we started arguing. I was like, no, I'm applying for the job. I'm telling you that I want to come here and work. And she's like, yeah, but you wore a hat to the interview. I was like, I always wear this hat. I literally have been wearing a hat. There's pictures of me from like fucking 14 years ago wearing this hat. My little stupid drive to work avatar, I'm wearing the hat. Ugh.
It looks weird.
And she's just like, well, you can't wear a baseball hat to an interview. And
I disagree.
I was like, well, why? That is the stupidest thing. So she's like, I like called her out on it. I got the job. And then that was the thing I always like taunted her about. I was like, remember when you didn't want to hire me because I was wearing a fucking hat? Good luck finding somebody to work. What do you want? You want to get like a prim, proper academic to wash cars for you? Or do you want me to, you dress for the job? Like if I was a businessman, I'd be dressed in business attire, but I was like a garbage man. I'm going to show up to the interview dressed like a garbage man. Otherwise, they're going to think I'm trying too hard. I'm a heroin addict or something. It's just like, look at this fucking guy. He wore a full fucking three-piece suit. He's a faker. I'm not hiring him. All you need to get a job is a big dick and a can-do attitude. Worked at a grocery store for 5 years. It was like it was a Zellers. And then I worked at a superstore. And I also worked at the Budget, washing cars. So I'd wash cars during the day, and at night I would go and stock shelves at the superstore. And then I moved to a different city, and I applied for a job at a grocery store because that's the only experience I had. So I could drive to work, and then I could drive around at work, and it was great. And I got an interview at a different company, like a different grocery store place, but it was like a big like bulk place. And I go in for the interview, and the guy shakes my hand, and we sit down, and he's just like, so I just want to get this out of the way. Your resume is really impressive. And it was like the most soul-crushing thing that anyone's ever said to me. It's like, great. Now all I can do is work at grocery stores. And I lied, and they're like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I was like, working here. And they hired me, and then I worked there for precisely 1 year. They tried to give me a raise in January. I took 3 weeks vacation to go to my best friend's wedding, and they're like, you can't have 3 weeks vacation. I'm like, well, I'm driving across the country. I'm staying there for a little while. Like, I couldn't afford to fly, and I needed a car while I was there to drive around, so I had to drive. And then they called me one night, and they're just like, you're not here. I was like, yeah, I'm not back until January 4th. Yeah, but you're on the schedule. Okay, didn't you come in and check? No, because I'm not there. What are you fucking moving your hands around for?
I'm just...
And then they officially offered, they kept telling me they're gonna give me this raise, which at a grocery store, going from making like $12 an hour to $21 an hour is a pretty big deal. So I accepted it. And then it took them until like the end of September to actually officially give me the job, because they kept like screwing me around and not giving it to me. And then they fired the guy who was doing that job so that I could do it. And then when they officially came to me and said, we want you to do the job, I had already been doing like the job I wanted as a career part-time, and I had an official job lined up for the rest of the year, so I turned it down. And the manager just looks at me, he's like, well, that's really shitty of you. And I replied with, shitty is as shitty does, to a strip club for a party. And I quit while I was there because I was supposed to be working that night.
That's the way to do it.
But you have to have a burner job if you want to have like a real job. You want to go to the camera store, look at tripods? I've only had 4 jobs. The only thing is that I always drive to work. And right now I'm trying to stay positive and drive to work even though I don't have a job.
I used to cut firewood for a living. Made me tough as nails.
Tough as nails, eh? Where are your nails?
I don't like to share personal information.
Oh, great.
It's my life, not yours.
Thanks, Bon Jovi. It's my life, I'm not gonna talk about it.
I got fired from the movie theater.
Why'd you get fired from the movie theater?
Because I was addicted to candy. I kept sneaking in the back and sneaking the Reese's Pieces bits for the ice cream. And I got caught once with my mouth full of it. And he's just like, just go home. Just go home.
I worked at Dairy Queen for 3 days when I was 16, and I would go in the back and sneak mouthfuls. I'd do like a scoop in a jug of strawberries for the sundaes. It was really good.
But you didn't get fired.
No, I quit. All of my friends worked there, so I didn't really take it seriously, and I didn't learn. I just went and fucked around, and then I had no idea what I was doing, and somebody ordered buffalo wings, and I didn't know how to make them, and I was like, fuck this job. And I didn't know how to make a mushroom Swiss burger either. Swiss! The worst hamburger you can have. But you have to have a burner job if you want to have like a real job. But anyway, I hope that story was fun. We've made it to work. Make sure you tell us about your drive to work, and I'll see you tomorrow. Like